Well, look, it's been a crazy fucking journey because, like, I showed up to my first fight with the broken hand, broke the hand 2 weeks before the fight. It was a hard few days trying to make that decision. Like, I was over in Las Vegas. I broke it off with Sean Strickland, and I spent 3 days just being like, what am I going to do here? Because they'd promoted this fight quite a bit already. I knew that this was only going to be my only chance. If I pulled out of this, I think they would have caught me. They were already getting a bit tired of the England-Ireland thing. And I went in and I performed and I beat the number 5 guy with the broken hand. And then I called out the number 1 contender. I had to go away and get a surgery in between.
That was the first fight with a broken hand?
Yeah.
First ever.
My first fight with OKTAGON, I showed up with a broken hand. And then I had to get surgery 2 days after the handbrake. And then I called out the number 1 contender while my hand was still fucked. And then the bone got infected. So actually, I haven't told this story that much. The bone got infected. It was bad. It never really healed properly. So, okay, the bone was healed together. So I had this massive callus in my hand and my thumb didn't really move fully. So that was the number 1 contender fight with Pavol Langer and the Karlos fight. I just had a massive lump of bone in the back of my thumb and my thumb was kind of like stuck here. So I couldn't really fully grip or I couldn't fully base for those 2 fights. And then in the Todev fight, I broke that bone again. The callus kind of broke into a load of different pieces. And I went back to get the same surgery and they were like, we can't do that surgery, your thumb is fucked. So it was only when I got a CT scan after that they realized, like, shit, your hand's in a really bad, like, your hand's kind of fucked up. And I had to go and get, like, basically a thumb replacement over in Prague afterwards because the surgeon who did the whole thing, he was like, this is an operation I haven't really done too many times. And he was a hand specialist. So, yeah. Fought Pavol Langer with that hand, like with the fucked up hand, knocked him out in the first round, called Karlos out. So, like, this is a mad thing, right? I show up to my first fight with the broken hand. I win that against the number 5 ranked guy. I go off, I get surgery, I call out the number 1 contender. I knock out the number 1 contender in the stadium and call out Karlos like literally a couple of seconds after I've knocked him out. I turn around and I'm like, you're next, you cunt, let's go. Post-fight interview, call him out. Then I get like through a stroke of luck because Purit, Samuel Krzysztof got injured and then Patrick Kinsella, who they offered to fight to first, got injured as well. Because neither of those guys took it, they gave Will the fight. Will go ahead and fucking smash Karlos and won the belt. So I'm like, it was a great fight. Fair fucks to Karlos, he showed up. He really fucking did his best to like not get fucked up that night. But I beat him over the 5 rounds and I beat him convincingly over the 5 rounds. So that was great. I was the light heavyweight champion. OKTAGON didn't want that fight to happen. Like, they did not want this Irish guy coming in and being their champion. They had Karlos, who was their big star, as their light heavyweight champion, and they already had the 3rd fight lined up with Attila Vey. So it was partially my performances were fucking good and I was talking a lot of shit, and also partially because nobody else would take that fight and Karlos wanted to fight in the O2 Arena. So it's just because of those 3 factors coming together, and Patrick Kinsella refused it because he'd lost and he was in a car crash the day after, and then Purit Krzysztof got injured. So like, because of that, I got that fight and I took it fucking like, you know, opportunity comes to pass, and I was waiting a long fucking time for a chance. So when I got that chance, I was definitely going to take it. So I did. I went in there and I smashed him and it went really well. And then that was on a Sunday night. On the Thursday, they called me and they were like, do you want to fight for the for the heavyweight belt in 8 weeks? And I was like, fucking yeah, let's go. And then that was the Todev fight. So I'd hurt the thumb pretty badly in the Karlos fight. And then in the Todev fight, it just broke. Like, I threw an overhand in the first round and it slapped the back of his head. And I think the bone just kind of broke into a bunch of different pieces. But it wasn't that painful during the fight, but it was afterwards I could barely move my hand. So then I had to get the whole bone at the bottom removed there. And yeah, it's a big, like, that was a significant surgery. So I had to get a bone graft from my radius into the bottom of my thumb. And then I was away from March until December. So it was a 9-month, but I was ready to fight March till December, but I was ready to fight by September. So I was looking for a fight in September. Alex Popic, the fucking pussy, refused it. They offered him like main event in Munich. And he was like, oh no, I'm sick, I can't make the weight. Like, he fought some other fucker at a catch weight in Munich. It was a lot of shite. So then because of that, I fought like Martin Buday, got cut from the UFC at 7-1. And it was perfect. It was like, brilliant, this guy's coming back. They want him to win the belt. And then I got in and fucking smashed Martin Buday. And, you know, it was a 1st round knockout. It went really, really well. And then it was time to negotiate a new contract. So I was in a very good position come time, like, you know, and I got a couple of offers elsewhere as well. And like, look, I think I've gone in and shown what I'm about now. All I ever needed was this opportunity.
And you got it.
Yeah. I got the opportunity, I got the platform, I went and fucking took it with both hands. As a fighter, I've done everything I could have done. And like, you can't fucking argue that any of my performances were not extremely impressive. Now it's about like making it as big as possible, continuing to exploit that and not letting any fucker come in and take this away from me. Cause like, I know how hard I worked to get here. I know what it took to be this guy. I know what it took for even the odds on getting this chance this late in my career. And all of this actually happening. It was very fucking slim, but I stayed fucking trying. And now it has happened. So now it's like, oh, you're gonna let some cunt come in and take this away from you? I'm fucking not a hope. I'll be honest, there was points in that journey that I stopped believing that things were gonna happen for me. But it was like, I'm gonna hate myself if I don't keep trying. So I was like so pot invested. It was like, I've put so much into this already. I've got a couple of years left in this. If I stop doing this now, I'm gonna feel like such a fucking idiot for not even going after it fully. So like, even with the broken hand that time, it was kind of like, it was such a fuck you in terms of like, look, as in I've been waiting all this time for an opportunity. I'm finally getting my chance and now your hand's fucked. And it's a significant break. It wasn't like some like, oh, you've got a fracture here. You know, the thumb was proper fucking broken. Like, and it was like, okay, but you've been training for 15 years to go and be this guy. They can't take that away from you. You're still Will fucking Fleury. You're still that good. You can still do this. And look, there's an element of luck in this. If it had been a different kind of injury, you couldn't perform. You know what I mean? If you broke your shin, you can't go in and fight with a broken shin.
Yeah.
But I was like, hey, I can overcome this.
But you're still in pain at the same time.
Yeah. Honestly, 20 minutes before the fight, like I realized like I can't cut my wrist, so I can't like turn down my shot. So a lot of your punching power is gone, and I couldn't grip. And like even like, if you watch the fight, I get his back at one stage and he just grabs over the hand and it's like, I'm not trying to choke you anymore. You know, so like, it wasn't like it was in massive pain during the fight, but there was just loads of shit I couldn't do. I couldn't put my hand on the ground because my thumb was down here. So like my thumb didn't go straight. Like it doesn't like flatten like your palm. So it was just like out like that. So there was a bunch of shit that I couldn't do in that fight. And it was significant shit. But it was like, right, fuck it. If you want to go in there and give yourself a chance, you got to take this risk now. And it like, in a way, it's kind of liberating. You know, that burn the boats mentality, you call it. And it's just like, right, you either kill this cunt or he kills you and now it's over. And if he beat me, it was like, okay, that's it, it's over. It becomes like backs against the wall. It's like, fuck you, kill me. It is, it's just like, right, you have to kill me. You have to get rid of me. I'm a fucking problem, mate, and I can hurt you. Okay, I'm compromised. Okay, I'm not perfect, but I can still fucking kill you. And you don't know I'm fucked. I know that, but I'm not gonna show you that. So there's an element of that, and like, in a way, that's every fight. I've never gone into a fight, like the one fight I went into fully fucking fit, genuinely like no injuries, nothing. I got knocked out in a minute and a half. Because I was loose, I was like feeling so flowy, I was like really relaxed. I didn't think anything bad could happen. So in a way, that shit, like, and look, that's the most significant injury I've ever fought with. I've had like ligament damage and other little shit going on. But that was like, your bone is broken. So like, if you try and put pressure through this, there's nothing you can do. Like, there's a power that comes with that mentality of like, I don't have an option. Like, I've now signed up for this. Once you commit fully, you've burnt the boats in your brain. There's no back. It's like, I die or I kill you. You know? Yeah. And there's something powerful about that. And it sounds very dramatic, but it's true. Once you buy into that, it's like, okay, I'm here to do a job on you. You have to fucking kill me to get that gone. Like, if you're going to succeed, you have to fuck me. I'm not going to kill myself. And a lot of people in life break. A lot of people kill themselves. It's like, fuck you, I'm not going to do that. I put too much into this to kill myself. You have to kill me. Fuck you. Look, it's two different things. You get more experience fighting and you know the situation better, so you can be more confident. But I definitely always had self-belief. And like, I gave myself a reason to fucking believe in myself. Because like, I wasn't a tough kid. I wasn't like some fucking gangster kid or any of that shit, no. Like, I wasn't fucking a tough kid in school, or I got the shit beat out of me. I had two older brothers who used to kick the fuck out of me constantly. But I was like, I'm not gonna break myself. You know, if somebody beats the shit out of me, okay, you beat the shit out of me today, but I'll be here again tomorrow. And like, I trained over in London for a long time. And in those spars over in London, I used to get the shit kicked out of me most of the time. But I was always like, I was never like, oh, I'm shit. It was like, okay, you got me today. but tomorrow's another day. And that was always my mindset. Now, like, after a while, I started to get some of them boys. The odd time, not always. I still did get the shit kicked out of me a lot. But, like, I always had that mindset of, like, okay, I'm going to get better at this. And eventually, I'm going to be there. And if you really buy into that and you give yourself a reason for it to become true. So I kept training as if, yeah, I'm going to get way better at this. Because I wasn't fucking that good when I started. It wasn't like I came in and started whooping everybody's ass day one. I came in and got my ass whooped most of the time day one. And okay, I was like kind of physically stronger, but I was shit at martial arts. Yeah. So like, it was a journey to be like, yeah, I'm going to get a bit better at this. I'm going to keep fucking plowing into this. And I know that like, I'm going to work my balls off to be as good as I can be. So like, even if the window with like, or the ceiling was a little bit lower, I was like, I have this period of time in my life to go at this as hard as I can. I'm going at this as hard as I can. And like, honestly, it's a weird thing, but I was trying so hard for a while, I think I nearly didn't see what it was. Where like, you're trying too hard.
Did it force it in a way? Like force it?
Yeah, and I think it actually, it like stagnates, like when you're too driven with something, and it's a weird paradox. Like I've only kind of discovered this later in my career. Like I used to come in and train twice a day, every day, and go hard and hard and hard and hard. And you'd be exhausted for most of it. And you're not really able to learn. You're just so tired, but you're like, embrace the grind, go at it. It kind of doesn't work. This thing is an art as well. And it's like, if you step away a little bit more, you see the art of it. And if you can use your mind more than your body, you can see the art of it. And I think in the last couple of years, that's what I got a bit better at. And even those moments of like, okay, your thumb is broken. It's like, actually, there's ways of winning this. So it's being a little bit creative. And that creativity can be very powerful. Because like, you can see things other people can't. And like, I feel like even at this stage of my career, that's the biggest advantage I have. I'm not like way more athletic than most of the guys I fight, but I can be there first. So I look faster. I look way faster than a lot of the guys I fight now. It's like, I can see where you're going to go and I can get there before you. And now it looks like, boom, boom, whoa, shit, Fleury's really fast. It's like, yeah, okay, I'm not slow. Like for an older guy especially, I'm like, I've done a lot physically to maintain that little bit of snap in me. But it's more just like, I know where you're about to be. That's why I look so fast. And like, I've watched enough of you that I know how your body's going to move. And I can get there like before you think that something's going to happen. I still like it. I still like the buzz of training. I still like the buzz of like discovering shit. Like training's hard sometimes, but most of the good shit's the creative shit of like finding a new shot, finding a new angle. That's a buzz. It's kind of like getting better at a video game. You know, it's like fun. So I look at most of my training in that mindset of like, it's being creative, but like obviously your body has to physically be in shape and you have to do some hard shit for your body to be in that good of a shape. But there's also like the joy of discovering shit and getting better at shit. Getting better at something's a really satisfying feeling. So look, there's certain things I would have been better at 5 years ago that I'm not as good at now, but I know how to win fights a lot better now. And it's like, I'm excited. Like, honestly, it's a weird feeling, but like, I know sooner or later age catches up with you. Yeah. You know, biology is a real fucking thing. Yeah. But I'm excited to see how long I can fuck with that and keep it away. Because I'm 37 now. 37 is not fucking young. I thought I'd be done fighting at this age. And I'm like, wait, man, I'm still getting way better. Yeah. Like, I'm definitely better now than I was a year and a half ago. Like, undoubtedly. I'm like, it's interesting to see if I can be better in a year and a half than I am now. And look, maybe age catches me. Maybe it's like, fuck, actually, this is the peak. But I'm here to find out. I'm pushing towards, like, I don't think the mountain's fucking anywhere near climbed. Yeah. So I'm going to keep fucking trying to climb it until the thing kills me, like. And, you know, it's like that. Fuck it. I'd rather die trying than give up here. You know? So, like, I'm climbing that fucking thing. And I'm looking up and I'm like, I still don't see the end. So maybe it's coming. Maybe it's there. Maybe there's a plateau soon. I'm going to fucking push it until I find out. I've been really disheartened by some of the shit that's happened. Like, look, I've come back as a double champ. It's really big over in Czech Republic, over in Germany. Yeah. You know, I come back here. I haven't done any mainstream media outlets at all. There's been no media attention really, even like from any outlets at all in Ireland. Just like, it's not a thing. It didn't register here at all. And then, like, even around Europe and France, everywhere, like, it's pretty, like, you're the OKTAGON champ. You're basically the European champ. So I'm a fucking double champ in Europe's biggest organization, and my home country doesn't give a shit at all. It can be a little bit disheartening, but honestly, the way I've started to look at it is in like, it's my job to represent the sport here in the best way possible.
Yeah.
And like, push it into people's heads that like, actually, this thing is a fucking great sport. And there's a lot of really good people involved in it. And I see some of the young lads in here, like, you know, the likes of Dara Kelly, Ryan Keogh, Kieran Clark, fucking great young lads, you know, great men. And like, they're not really going to get that much, you know. And I'm in a position now where like, I am headlining a show in Germany in 2 weeks' time. It's in the biggest arena there. It's their first time down to Germany. And I'm the main event. I'm the double champion. It's like, okay, I hope I get a window sometime to go on some of the national outlets here to express that like, I'm really proud to represent Ireland. That's what I mean. So like, I'd love the chance to represent Ireland in a better way and go and show, hey, look, there's a lot of fucking, and again, like, I'm not saying I'm some fucking bastion of decency or bastion of like fucking what everybody wants to see. But guess what? Give me a fucking chance. And I think a lot of people in this country are going to admire who I am. Because like, I know that I got into this not to be famous or not to be fucking, I got into this to be good at fighting and to like who I was. And I look at the amount of young lads out there who are going through shit in their lives now. I was like, man, a lot of this, you're way too concerned with what everybody else feels. And social media can do that.
Yeah.
Whereas like, I think martial arts teaches you, it's like, it's about you. You know, it's you versus you. That is the ultimate battle in this thing. And if you start to like who you are, you versus you becomes a lot easier. And I think there's a very powerful message from a mental health point of view and from a like journey through life point of view. And I'm not saying I have it all figured out by any means, but I know the shit that I was going through when I was 21, 22, this really helped me with. And like, even the mindset that comes from doing this, it can be anything. I don't think it has to be martial arts. But I think like, if you do something where effort makes you better at it, and you understand that the more effort I put into this thing, the better I become and the better I like myself, that's a very powerful feedback loop. And I think a lot of young people don't have that in their lives right now. And I'd love for something like this to be highlighted. And all sports are this to a degree. But it's like, this is kind of the ultimate test of it in a way. And I kind of think MMA is really good at taking in the fringes of society. So the people who are kind of rejected by everything else, if you're not a GA player, if you're not a rugby head, if you're not one of these guys, like, you know, you're not quite in any of the other brackets. MMA doesn't give a shit. MMA accepts everybody, all sorts of characters. And it's funny, but like, I've seen guys here who've come in and you'd be like, oh man, this guy's never going to be anything. And all of a sudden they've got like a little trick in their best. And you know, they're the guy you ask about this leg lock now, or they're the guy who like, you thought 2 years ago would never be good at anything. And it's like, oh shit, he's one of the toughest roles in the gym now. So, like, I'd love for people to truly understand what martial arts is in this country. And I get that it has a bit of a bad rep at the moment. I'd love to be part of changing that. I don't know if it can become another peak wave. And like, my battle, like, the thing I want to represent is like, prize fighting and martial arts are two very different things. I'm a prize fighter. But martial, like, and I'm not 100% sure that prize fighting is a really positive thing for society to focus on. But martial arts is definitely a really positive thing to focus on. And martial arts got me into prize fighting. I can make a living through martial arts. Like that. I'm the guy who trains and wants to get better and discover shit. That's the martial artist in me. The prize fighter is the guy who's going to sit at the press conference, talk a bunch of shit, and make the fight as big as possible and like take the piss out of my opponent and all that. You got to be a little bit of both to be like to make a living out of this thing. But vast majority of people shouldn't be trying to make a fucking living out of this. I don't know if we should like, you know, what I do, I love doing. I love that I'm on the journey towards being the best fighter I can be. But I'm not sure if that's like a benefit to society from a fucking altruistic point of view. But it's definitely the journey that got me here through martial arts is definitely very worthwhile. So I would love to show that from a societal point of view. I would love for Ireland to understand, you know, for the Irish media to understand that this is actually the journey I'm on. I think it's always been the way. I think if you go back and you watch Muhammad Ali, people didn't like him as much while his career was still ongoing or while he was still... He talked a lot of shit, he like ruffled up a lot of guys. He basically bullied a lot of guys when you go back and look at it properly. But it was kind of funny. A lot of it is like pretty entertaining. And people do like that shit. And it's like, you know what? If people didn't like it, people wouldn't do it. If it didn't sell, people wouldn't be at it. Yeah. So in a way, it's like, you can fucking blame the fan. Like, you know, you can kind of say like, hey guys, fighters wouldn't be doing this if it didn't work. And look, there's a lot of fighters like Colby Covington and guys like this who I think are fucking idiots. But people like, it worked for Colby. Josh Hockett, this fucking clown. He's doing this shit because it does kind of work. People are talking about Josh Hockett now. Like, I'm talking about Josh Hawkins, so I shut the fuck up, but like, it's effective. That's why they do it. And like, if people didn't focus on bullshit, they wouldn't spout bullshit out. People would just show up and fight. But I know a lot of really great martial artists who just show up and fight and no one gives a fuck. So you have to put it out there, but you have to big it up, you have to talk, you have to fucking say shit, you have to catch people's attention. And like, that's the thing, even in a way, like, right, I've gone over to Germany, I've done all this amazing shit. Like, I'm the fucking daddy of Germany now. You know, it's true, like, as in, I'm the heavyweight champ, I'm the light heavyweight champ. All the guys who I could be fighting over there don't want to fucking touch me because I can smash them. And I'm in this weird position where, like, I'm not going to be popular with German fans if I start calling all of your fighters are pussies. But hey, what am I going to do? Sit there and be quiet and they can all just ignore me. So it's like, I'm in this kind of catch-22 position of like, I kind of have to go and be the asshole. I have to go and be the heel. I have to go and be like, your guys are fucking pussies. None of you cunts want to acknowledge this, but it's the truth. If any of your guys actually wanted to fight me, they know they get fucking smashed. And that's where they're going off and focusing on all these other fights. And that's the reality of this. And like, I don't want to be nasty to German people. I don't have any fucking issue with German people. But it's like, actually, to make this something that's going to sell, I have to be the heel. I have to be that guy. I have to go and go, fuck you, your guys are shit. They're all pussies. German nationalism's a load of fucking bollocks. Fuck you all. You know? So, like, it's funny if you embrace it in the right way. And I think people need to just appreciate that, like, if you love the sport enough, this game wouldn't have to happen. But people don't see the sport for what it is. So you have to sell it like this. From a personal point of view, my life's pretty similar on a daily basis. I show up here, I train twice a day kind of shit. Like it's not a million miles away, but like, hey, when I go and buy shit, I don't have to worry anymore. You know, paying my rent's not a stress. You know, it's like long term now, I have a lot more options. Yeah. What I can go and do after I finish fighting is like, there's a lot more I can go and see my, like, you know, I have money to set shit up. And especially if I keep winning fights and like, even right now, the really exciting thing. So that's kind of like abstract in my mind. That's like 5 years down the line, hopefully. I see it like, actually, I can create massive opportunities by winning more fights now. So like, you know, beating Buday, great. It opens a lot of doors. And now this new contract is like, cool. You go 6 more fights and you fucking smash all of them. You know, you're a double champ with fucking what? I've had 8 defenses at that stage. It's like, fuck, that's pretty special. And then it's like, okay, now you're out of contract in a really great position. You're only 38 years old. It's like, fuck, that's a good position to be in. And then, you know, Netflix are coming into the game. There's other shows. Like, it's really exciting to be here right now. Yeah. And I'm looking at the martial arts journey and the opportunities available that I've made real. And then I'm looking at like, hey, if you keep doing this in both sides, life options after this are big as well. So it's like, you can buy a fucking gaff. You can do shit that a couple of years ago you didn't think you'd be able to do. The energy of going up hasn't gone down at all. I still want to chase that thing harder than I did 2 years. Like, you know, 2 years ago, I didn't believe chasing it would be as productive as it's gotten. Now it's providing my life. Yeah. It's like, I feel that can provide for my life now. So that like, the fucking energy that I have to go and chase the thing is bigger. So it's like, this is real now. This isn't just you showing up and training for the sake of not fucking feeling like a loser to like yourself a bit more. No, this is now productive. You're actually doing something that's fucking counting towards providing for the rest of your life. So there's a motivation and energy within that I'm like really driven to go and fucking push this as far as I can. And it's like, right now, like you look at the way I performed against Buday, it's really exciting to go like, yeah, fuck, I think I'm genuinely one of the best heavyweights in the world. I think I'm one of the best light heavyweights in the world. I want to fucking find out how far I can go with this and how long. Look, I get it. Age is not my side. I'm not a young guy. I'm just gone 37. How long can I stay this good? And maybe I can keep getting better. And then it's like, right, well, if that's the case, you can go and do something fucking truly special. And I'm kind of in that headspace of like, you might get this fucking amazing fucking legacy out of this if you just keep fucking going at this the right way. And I'm not going to fuck my, like I said, I'm not killing me. Somebody's going to have to come along and kill me. And if they do, fair fucks you, you're a better man than me. But I'm not killing myself. I'm not going fucking, oh, you know what, I'm here now, it's good. I'm going to take it easy. Oh, I'm going to rest on my laurels. You know, it's a nice life. I can pay for shit. I can do all that. It's like, fuck this, man. No. I want to be that fucking undisputed. Will fucking Fleury was class. I'm the best guy that ever came out of Irish MMA. I want that fucking thing. And I don't even give a shit that like maybe 90% of Ireland won't know that. But it's like, I want to know it in my heart when I finish. And if I don't get there, I want to know I did everything I fucking could have done to get there. And that, like, that's the journey to me now. This is the way I sold it to myself internally. Even if it doesn't go anywhere, even if it's not productive, I was trying my best to be something, to actually be a really good martial artist, to actually come in and do all the shit that I should have done to be that guy. Maybe I never would have got the chance. So we could be sitting here and, you know, the Octagon thing never happened. And I feel like deep in my heart, I'd still be the same man. Because I can't dictate whether or not I got the opportunity, but I could dictate how hard I tried. And I wasn't going to fuck myself over. You know, I wasn't going to let myself get screwed by this whole thing. It's like, no. If I ever get my chance, I'm going to be as good as I can fucking be. And sooner or later, the opportunity has to come. And I'm so fucking happy it came, but it might never have. And that, like, that's why now I feel so determined to make the most of it. Because it's like, hey, it did fucking happen. You know what? It came. I did get it. I'm a double champ. You know, I'm legit making a living out of this thing. It's fucking class. It's beautiful. It's like, I'm not undoing me. You know, I'm not letting this thing fucking take me down. No. I'm going as far as I fucking can, and I'm running away with this thing now.
How did you feel when you beat Carlos? Like, what was it first?
Cool. It was cool. It was really like the energy. Like, it was still the best atmosphere I've ever fought in front of. Like, you know, there was a wall of noise hit me walking out that night. Everybody in the stadium, they built it up really well. You know, they made it like the old Lion against this young shit talker guy. You know, I was 35 then, I wasn't young, but like, you know, I was just like, you know, I was coming in as the guy who like was new to all the Octagon fans. I talked a lot, you know, I'd said like, oh, Karlos, I'm coming for you, blah, 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 all this shit. I did this big call out video where I destroyed everybody in the top 10 and called them all pussies. And then I kind of went in and proved it. I beat the number 5. I finished the number 5 guy. I finished the number 1 guy. And then it was like, Karlos, I'm fucking coming for you. So, you know, it was a really satisfying couple of months. I think I was champion within like, I fought in April and then it was December. So what's that, like 8 months? So 8 months after arriving in the promotion, I became champion. And like I had 3 fights in those 8 months and 3 very impressive performances. It was at the end of a dream year. It was like, yeah. I remember I was like in the airport the day after and people were asking, like I was sitting in Prague airport with Tommy and people were coming over being like, can I see the belt? Because I had the belt in my bag. And I was like, because everybody fucking saw, like they did so much promo for that fight. Everybody in Czech Republic knew who I was. So it was class. I was like, yeah, cool. You know, people were taking photos with me with the belt and shit. It was a dream. It was a fucking real dream come true kind of moment. Like, and then like, I won the second belt short. Like it was only 8.5 weeks later, I won the second belt. So that was fucking class. It was an amazing moment. It was an amazing period. But then you go home, I had to get surgery on my hand after the second title fight. Yeah. And it was like, okay, I'm not financially secure for the rest of my life. I have to go and make fucking more money doing this. And I want to leave a bigger legacy than this. So the ambition couldn't, like, you know, honestly, like, you know, I couldn't rest on my laurels. So it's a dream, but it's also like, your dream is to work harder at the thing to be the best you can be, from my point of view. It's not like, boom, I reached this thing. There's a real hollowness in like, you know, you listen to Tyson Fury talking about how he gets depressed after fights. I fucking get it. You have a singular purpose. Like even right now, my whole, like my life is rotating around like, I fight Aris in 2 weeks. Once I do that, it's like, okay, what are you doing now? It's tough. So you redesign it to be like, okay, that's a step on the ladder. The ladder goes there. I'm not just like, oh, I win this fight, right? That's not how I give my identity to myself anymore. It's like, that's your purpose right now. Your overall goal is to make this thing a fucking legacy. And like, it's fun. It's fun when you chase that. You're building an empire, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I've started to create it now. It's there. It's like, it exists. The thing is real. It's not theoretical anymore. I've actually done it. So now it's like, keep fucking building, keep spreading, keep the fucking thing growing. And like that mindset, okay, growth can't be exponential. I will get older. I will start to fucking, you know, deteriorate as time goes on. But it's like, I want to keep fucking trying until somebody kills me. That's the way I look at it. Like, it's like, okay, I'm not stopping me. You have to stop me. Todev fight, 100%. Yeah, it was the hardest fight I've ever been in. And like, coming into the 4th round for that fight, I'd done everything to finish him in the third. Like I'd hit him with my best shots. I really had. Like I'd fucking landed my backhand into the guy heavy, and he was like dump, and he was just like there. And I hit his body hard a bunch of times, right in the fucking liver, and he was still there. And like starting in that fourth round, because I'd nearly finished him in the third, and I gave everything to finish the fucking cunt in the third, and he was still like, okay, cool. And then he came out and the start of the fourth, and he was going. And I knew because I was round up in all three of the judges. So one judge had given me the first 3 rounds. Two had given him round 2, and then me round 1 and 3. So I was like, if I win 4, I'm 2 rounds up on every judge's card. So I made a massive push to win that round.
Is that when you decided to get top position?
No, that was the third round.
The third round, sorry.
Yeah, so the fourth was actually like, genuinely, I would have given me the second because I've watched it a bunch of times. I would probably give him the fourth. So I would give him 4 and 5. But I won the first 3 in my eyes. Like 2 and 4 are both pretty close. I definitely won 1, I definitely won 3, and he definitely won 5. But like, I would give me 2 because I landed a lot of good shots before I took him down, and then I took him down, and I think they overscored the Kimura attempt. He had a really big Kimura attempt, and it looked like my elbow was like really fucked. I wasn't in that bad a position. Like the joint, it's because my hand was broken. So when he like rotated over, it was like, oh fuck, that's worse than I thought. And then the elbow did like move a little bit. So when I got back on my fucking legs, I was like, oh, something's weird. But it wasn't like a big injury kind of buzz. And like, he wasn't in a position to finish. So I was like, it was never close to like ending it. I just let him have the sweep off it. But that fight, man, there was a few times in that fight where it was like, okay, now I'm finding out who I am. Like, and I was really proud of it. Like, it wasn't the best, like...
What are you saying to yourself in between the rounds in your mind? Like, really heavy, so tired.
You're just trying to fucking get your breath, and like, you're kind of like, how do I finish this? How do I hurt this guy? How do I put him away? But there's also an element of like, don't let him, like, look, inside you're fucking dying. But there's this thing of like, I'm not showing you shit. Because he wasn't showing me shit. Like, I had hit him. I knew he was fucking dying. Like, he hit me hard a couple of times, and it rattled me.
Yeah.
And then I'd just go back at him. So like, his punches were more obviously hurting me. Whereas like, when I was hitting him, I could see it was like, this is cracking. I'm hitting the wall with the sledgehammer, but eventually that wall's gonna fucking cave. I know it. You can try and hide it, but I know it, my soul. So I was just like staring at him a bunch, like while we were in the corners, like letting him know it's like, I'm here to fucking break you, you cunt. You know, there was that feeling of like,
Yeah.
fuck you. I know this is hurting you. I know you're gonna fucking, like, everybody has a limit. I can break you. But like, there was also an element of I'm fucking bollocks. And it really is like, you know, like, there's a game of like letting him know that you're here to break him, but also not letting him know, oh fuck, I'm dying. It was a powerful mindset to go in there. It was kind of like, okay, the boats are fucking gone. It's me and you on this island. One of us is getting off. That kind of was like, you know, it is like, we came for the fucking prize. It's kill or be killed time. Let's fucking go. So it's a good buzz. Like, I really genuinely enjoyed it. Like, those moments you'll never feel as alive again. It's true, like, it's a drug. Like, that's why I love this thing so much. That's why I'm chasing it so hard. I know it's exciting that I'll have other things going on in my life after this, but you do have to rewire your brain because, like, the purpose of this is so singular, and the buzz of it is it's the best drug I've ever taken. You know, winning a fight is like no other achievement in life of like, you've gone through the pressure cooker, you backed yourself, you put yourself in this really vulnerable position, and it's all paid off. And like, there's no, like, you can't do this and be comfortable. If you're doing it and you're comfortable, you're in the wrong fucking thing. So it's rewarding, but it's very difficult. And I think all things like, you know, if things aren't difficult, there's no real reward at the end of it. You know, you don't get that internal chemistry reward out of it.
Yeah.
This thing is rewarding because you know what you went through to get there. So the sense of achievement inside yourself is pretty big. And that, like, you know, that night, I fucking knew, like, you know, at the end of that fight, I could barely see. It was like the fourth or fifth round, everything was kind of coming into a tunnel. So I think it was low blood sugar or like just pure exhaustion. But it was like somebody was dimming the lights down in the stadium. And when the 5th round ended, I just walked over and like collapsed on, like, you know, I could barely fucking stand. So I went over and it was like, there was a stool, like, you know, Derek Kelly put a stool down and I just fell like kind of chest first onto the stool. And I was like, I'll get up and sit on this now in a minute. You know, I was like, I'll just take a couple of breaths and I'll push myself up and sit on the stool rather than just lying on it. And I've looked at the footage. I lie on that stool for about a minute and a half, like chest down. It's just being like, and there's blood dripping out of my mouth. There's blood dripping out of my nose. There's doctors coming over just wiping my face and shit. And I'm just like, I'm too fucking tired to respond to any of them. I remember just being like, and like, it was the first time it hit me. I was like, they haven't turned the lights down. This is my vision. Because I was honestly like, in my head, I was like, why have they turned the fucking lights down this much? It's like, no, that's not them, that's you. You know? So that fight, but getting through that fight, and look, I knew once it was over, I was like, I've won this. So there was a real, like, I was lying on that stool as fucked as I've ever been, in horrific fucking pain, but so proud of who I was. You know, it's a weird feeling. Like, it's like, and even like the next day when I woke up, I was fucked. I've never really tried to glorify my lifestyle. I have a fucking Volvo at home. You know, I'm doing pretty well. I have savings now. I'm in a good position in life, thank God. You know, I'm really, really grateful for that. Like, I'm not going to be broke anytime soon. Even if I do in my ACL, I have options in life now. So like, I'm really grateful that fighting has given me that. You're not going to see me posting with fucking sunglasses in a Ferrari. Fucking, could I tier it? Like, I'm not at the stage where I could buy a fucking Ferrari, but you know what? If I really poured all my resources into it, I could have some really fucking fancy car for a while if I wanted to. But it's like, that means fuck all to me. And I don't live my life for any of that shit. I live it to be the best martial artist I can be and to be proud of who I am. So, in a way, I think a lot of the people who do that shit, maybe it's smart in a way because it kind of gets a bit of attention and it gets a bit of this like, people do seem to buy into that shit and people do seem to love it. I see guys who are with Octa like, I'm the number 1 pound for pound and I'm the double champ, right? I know I get paid better than most of the guys there. And I see all these guys posting with like Ferraris and fucking Lamborghinis. They're wearing, and it's like, you're number fucking 5 in the division and you're shit. And it's like, who are you selling this for? But it does seem to get them a lot of attention online. But it's a bit vapid. It's a bit just like, you know, it comes back to that thing of like, does this make you like who you are? Because you can rent a fucking car and sit in it and drive it. And it's like, this is somebody else's work. You know, you're living off of somebody else's prestige. You haven't created that. You know, that's not who you are. Any fucking muppet can have money and sit in a car.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like all these lads who buy like fucking ridiculous watches. It's like, yeah, there's like trust fund kids who can buy that watch, man. Who gives a shit? You know what I mean? Well, having money is not like a sign of being fucking significant. Maybe it is to somebody, but I don't give a shit about the person who respects that. As in like, if your boss is like, oh my God, that's a fucking blah, 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 that's worth like 50 grand. Great. Well done for you, like. But I couldn't give a bollocks what your watch is worth. Who are you as a human? What's in your soul? What's your character about? Like, the main thing, like, right, you can go to your grave with all that shit. Great, bury you with it. But like, my soul gets to keep the memories I have of being around people I like being around. The days of the fights, that sort of shit. Like, as in, look, you can be all very Disney about it. You got to have enough money to fucking supply your life and pay your bills and, you know, hopefully buy a gaff and own something at the end of it all. But like, it's the being there with your mates on that day and achieving the shit you wanted to achieve. Nobody can fucking take that thing away from you. You know, like, honestly, some of the best days of my life were fucking winning matches playing rugby with a bunch of lads who I liked. You know, I played for this team, Clan William and Tip Down, and like, they were a mad bunch of cunts, and I loved playing with them. And like, we played in like junior cup matches. They weren't like big deals, but like, we won a kick with a drop goal at the end of one of the games I was playing. I was only like fucking 19. Honestly, one of the best days of my life. Nobody can take that shit away from you. Like, I like me more because of those days. And I think if I owned this fucking 50 grand Rolex, I don't think it makes me like me anymore. That's the way I'm set up anyway. So I'm glad that I have financial security from fighting. I'm way more glad that I have, like, and again, the financial security is a fucking huge thing. So like, if you can't pay your bills, you can't rent a gaff, you can't fucking be in a position where you can eventually own something, it's actually not that satisfying. I got to that place with martial arts. But once you have all of those little needs ticked, the real satisfaction comes from the days, the achievements, the crack you have with the lads while you're training, the buzz of it, like the community and the camaraderie of this thing and the memories you get. Because like, that's what life is.
The memories that stay with you. I know.
And that's what life fucking is, man. As in, like, you can buy the hottest bird in the world. You'll feel like shit. Or you can forge a relationship with a woman you love. Like, which would you rather? So it's like, actually, none of the really fucking important shit in life can be bought. You kind of have to just work for it and be a human and be a fucking decent person about it. So if you'd asked me 10 years ago, I would have said there was loads, because I would have given up like loads of nights out with my friends, like fucking different social occasions. Even like there'd be people like social groups that I just stopped hanging around with because it was like, no, I'm doing this full time. This is my thing. And then like relationships, all that type of thing. Like, you know, I had a girlfriend at one stage who was like, I can't be with you if they're just going to only pursue fighting in your life. And I was like, I don't think we can be together. And you know, like, so there was like, I chose this path.
Yeah.
And no matter what you do, like there's a certain point in your life where you kind of feel like say when you're 21, 22, and there's so many options open to you. And in a way, it's really daunting. It's like, are they sacrifices if you don't go down that road? Because I'm really lucky. I feel genuinely grateful that I picked the road that I liked. And there's been a lot of shit along the way. I've had to be, you know, like I've lived in gaffs with no fridges and lived in shitholes at times.
Yeah.
You know, I drove a fucking 98 Toyota Corolla up until like 2 years, you know, this thing that used to fucking, water would pour in off the roof every time I took a sharp turn. So like, things like that feel like a sacrifice at times, but like, I'm also really happy I chose this road. So when I sit here now, it doesn't seem like a sacrifice. It's like, that was my journey. That was the path to here. And would a load of nights out with fucking mates have been better than this? I don't think so. I don't think I would like me as much now. And that's kind of what I like. Look, I drank a lot in my early 20s and I felt very lost at times in my early 20s. And I would have like been overwhelmed with like all those things of like, who are you gonna fuck? What are you gonna do with your life? Yeah, where are you going? Like, you don't know who you are. You don't know what you're. And I chose this thing, and I went at it fucking hard. And well, thank God, my life's nowhere near over. Hopefully, you know. But like, I know what I am now. I know who I am. Those moments like that Todev fight, it shows you what you're about. And the last 10 years, the last 15 years have shown me who I am and what I'm about. And I've made myself someone that I'm proud of. I don't give a fuck what anybody else thinks. Thank God, like, you know, I'm in this position now where it's like, I know me, so I don't really have to care what you think about me. Like, look, if somebody close to me tells me, hey, Will, you're being an asshole, I'll fucking listen to them. But I know myself well enough to go, well, if some guy thinks I'm a cunt and I don't know the guy, fuck him. You know, and like, I don't look at any of the shit that I had to give up to get here as something that wasn't worth giving up. I've got to live this life for 15 years. I've got to achieve a bunch of shit that I wouldn't have got to achieve otherwise. I've got to know myself a lot better through this path. Maybe there would have been other paths I could have gone down that would have been satisfying as well. I don't regret not going down those. I'm lucky in the fact that I'm here. Have I like done things that I wish I hadn't done at times? Yeah, fuck yeah. Like I wish I could take back all the losses, definitely. But would I be here now if I didn't have those? I don't know. So if it led me to here, fuck it, man. Thank God I got here. You know, I could have got hit by a fucking bus 10 years ago. Like, you never know. But you can't go down that road anymore. So it's like, hey, you're on this one, but you're alive and you fucking should be grateful to be here. And look, I'm like, if I'd sold this to me at 21, I think I would have fucking bit my hand off. You know, if you'd said, hey, Will, you can be here at 37 years of age, being a fucking double champ, you know, Europe's biggest organization. Okay, you're not going to get to the UFC, but guess what? You're going to get this big good career. You're going to get this great contract. You're going to fight in fucking Uber Arena in Berlin. There's going to be 20,000 fans there. You know, everyone in Germany is going to be massively invested in who you are and what your buzz is. Everyone in Czech Republic is going to be massively invested in who you are and what your buzz is. I'm like, that sounds like a fucking mad life. That's class. You know, like,
yeah.
I would have taken that. Like, I would have been like, yeah, man, that's fucking unreal. You know, and now it's about like, okay, this is Will at 37. Who do you want to be when you're 50? You know,
Think it long term.
well, like
50s.
I want to be able to look back as a 50-year-old Will and look at 37-year-old Will and go, do you know what? He didn't have a clue about a lot of this shit, but I'm proud of what he was trying to be. Because I can be that about 20. Like, I fucked up a load of stuff in my 20s. Loads of like retarded shit that I did that I'm like, what was I thinking? What was I doing? But what I can genuinely say is like, hey, my intention was to try and be a better guy. My intention was to try and be, and I think that's huge. I really do, like, because like you will fuck shit up. It's inevitable. You learn throughout your life.
Yeah.
But if you have the intention to be a better person and to be better and learn from your mistakes and learn from like the shit you fucked up along the way, you know what, man? Don't beat yourself up too much about it. As long as you're genuinely trying to be someone who you want to be and be a better man, fuck it. You're doing your best.